Good morning to all. In the last class we discussed about the parts of an angiosperm plant. And there are two regions for an angiosperm plant. A part of the plant present below the soil level is called as root system, and part of the plant present above the soil level is called shoot system. And root system consists of tap root, secondary root and tertiary root. And the shoot system consists of the main axis called stem, nodes, internodes, leaves, axillary bud, terminal bud, flowers, fruits and seeds. So there are two types of root system. There are two parts of the angiosperm typical plant. And see, we have to study the detailed structure, the morphology of the parts of the plant body in detail. So as far as typical plant is considered, there are different parts are there. We can say root is there, stem is there, leaf is there, flowers, fruits and seeds. Typically an angiosperm plant consists of 6 portions mainly. The main part, root, then comes a stem, then comes a leaves, then comes a flowers, then comes a fruits and then seed. Typical angiosperm plant have these much of portions: root, stem, leaves. That comes one category. Flowers, fruits and seeds. That comes another category. The first 3 parts, stem, root and leaves, are called vegetative part of plant body. And flowers, fruits and seeds, they are called reproductive part of the plant body. So remember that a typical flowering plant, angiosperm plant, consists of 6 portions: root, stem, leaf. They are called vegetative part of the plant body. Flower, fruit and seed, they are called reproductive part of the plant body. Reproductive part means part related to reproduction are called reproductive part of the plant body. Parts which are not related to reproduction are called as vegetative part of the plant body. So first of all, vegetative parts are developing. After that, at the time of reproduction, reproductive parts are developing. So as far as a plant is considered, the life consists of 2 portions. Life cycle consists of 2 parts. First half of the leaf, first half of the plant, where the root, stem, leaves develop. That part of the life cycle is called vegetative part of the life cycle. Second part of the life cycle, where the plant began to produce flower, then fruit, then seed, is called reproductive part of the life cycle. So we can have discussed 6 portions in detail. And first of all, we can start with the root, then stem, then leaf, then morphology of flower, then fruit, then seed. First of all, we can see the morphology of root system and types of root systems first of all. See, you know that roots originate from radicle. Radicle develops into root system and to produce branches, etc., etc. And there are 3 types of root system. See, as far as angiosperms are considered, there are 3 types of root systems. First of all, tap root system, fibrous root system, BROUS, fibrous root system, and adventitious root system. See, there are 3 types of root system existing in angiosperms: tap root system, fibrous root system and adventitious root system. First comes to tap root system. This is seen in dicot plants. Dicot plants are there having 2 cotyledons that we can discuss what are dicot. In dicot plants we can see the tap root system. And in the tap root system, the character is that the radicle, see, this is the seed germinate into a radicle. You know that radicle. Radicle directly develops into a main root called a tap root. Radicle directly develops into a main root called as taproot. Radicle directly develops into a main root called taproot. It produces branches like this. It produces branches like that. These branches are called as, these branches can be called as secondary root, and again produce branches called tertiary root. Again produce more branches called tertiary root. So this type of root system seen in dicot plants is called as taproot system. So here in taproot system, what happens? The radicle directly develops into a main root called taproot or primary root. Taproot is always called primary root. It produces branches called secondary root or lateral root. It again produces branches called tertiary root. This kind of root system is called a taproot system, that is seen in most of the dicot plants. When it comes to fibrous root system, this is seen in monocot plants. Seen in monocot plants like bamboo, sugarcane, grass, or like wheat, or like these plants, or areca or coconut or banana like plants. In the fibrous root system, the radicle, this is the radicle divides repeatedly. It divides like this, divides repeatedly, and produce a group of roots like this. It produces and divides and produce a group of roots which are similar, originating from the base of the stem. See, radicle directly does not develop into main root. Radicle divides many times and produce a group of roots, similar group, fiber-like roots. See, in coconut or areca, we cannot see this kind of fruit. In grass, in rice, or in wheat, we can see these kind of fruits. And see, when the base of the stem, roots are producing like that in coconut or areca like this. This type of root system, there is no primary root, there is no lateral root, nothing is there. So the radicle divides and produce a group of roots which are similar, originating from the base of the stem, as in coconut or areca or rice or bamboo. This kind of fiber-like root system which are similar, a cluster of roots, a group of roots originating from the base of the stem are called a fibrous roots. What is the difference? Here radicle directly develops into main root called taproot, then produce branches. But here radicle divides and produce a group of roots which are similar, as in monocot plants like coconut or areca. This is seen in mango-like plants. This is seen in coconut-like plants. Then third type is called adventitious root system. Adventitious root system is seen in many plants. In monocots and dicots we can see that. Adventitious root system means root system originating from any part of the plant body other than the radicle. Remember that root system originated from the radicle, but there are certain cases where root system will not originate from radicle. Such a root system which will not originate from the radicle are called adventitious root system. Root system originating from any part of the plant body other than the radicle is called adventitious root system. Are you seeing such cases? In banyan tree, you can see that from the branches roots are hanging, the banyan tree, and from the banyan tree, from the branches roots are hanging down. You can see the roadside banyan trees there. From the branches roots are hanging down. These are called as adventitious roots. Then in the case of many plants, the sugarcane, orange, you see in the case of sugarcane or bamboo or sugarcane, from the node roots originate. From the node roots originate. They are called as adventitious roots. In grasses, many grasses are there. From the grasses, the roots originate from the nodal region. Roots originate from the nodal region. Joint of system is called node. In many plants, leaves, many plants are there. From the margin of leaves are like this. from the margin of leaves, roots originate. From the margin of leaves, roots originate from the margin of leaves. Such a root system originating from the stem or leaves other than the radicle is called a adventitious root system. So there are three types of root system in angiosperm: tap root system seen in dicot, fibrous root system monocot, and adventitious root system both seen in monocot plant and dicot plants. Okay, clear that there are three types of root systems. Let's see the next topic. What are root modifications? See, roots are modified. Root modifications. So by this we can complete the root today. Root modifications. Root modifications. What do you mean by modification? Root modification, stem modification. Modification means root system. What is the normal function of root system? Fixation and absorption. Fixing the plant in soil, absorbing water and nutrients from the soil. And in many cases, roots are doing functions other than fixation and absorption. See, if the roots are doing functions other than fixation and absorption, such roots are called modifications. Roots are doing other functions, not fixation and absorption. Fixation and absorption is usually doing other than fixation and absorption. It is called root modifications. In many cases, roots are doing some other functions. We can see what are the examples from your textbook. First of all, see, and modifications are there. In the case of plants like in the case of like carrot or beetroot, see, roots are meant for storage of food material. Roots are doing the function of storage of food material. And see, in plants like carrot or beetroot, you can see roots are doing, see, roots are like this. Roots are like this. Roots are doing the function of storage in plants like a carrot. In plants like carrot, roots are doing the function of storage of food material. Carrot is there, beetroot is there, then radish is there, sweet potato is there, tapioca is there. So in that case of plants, roots store food material. Such roots are called storage root. Second one, in the plants like banyan tree. In plants like banyan tree, roots are called prop root. See, in the case of banyan tree, roots are called prop root. You see, banyan trees are usually in the roadside. You can see that banyan tree, and from the branches, branches are there. From the branches, roots are hanging downwards, and they become thick pillar-like roots. See, roots are becoming like that, and they will touch the soil, and they become thick pillar-like structures in banyan tree, ficus plant. You can see the roadside. They are giving mechanical support. They are supporting the branches. So roots are coming downwards from the branches, touching the soil. They become thick pillar-like structures. These roots are called prop root. P-R-O-P, prop root. And this is for mechanical support. Then third one, in the case of plants like sugarcane, they are called as tilt root. In the case of plants like sugarcane or maize, in these plants, you know the example called sugarcane, maize, corn. So in these plants, sugarcane, very familiar for you. It's monocot plants with nodes and inner nodes like that. Maize is there. In these plants, from the lower nodes, you see roots are coming like that. Small roots are originating from the node. And sometimes roots will grow like that. Roots will grow and give support. Roots will grow like that and giving mechanical support like that. See, this is very seen maize plant, maize, corn. See, roots will originate from the lower node, grow downwards, touch the soil, give mechanical support. These roots are called as stilt root. Function, mechanical support. This is also mechanical support in banyan tree, but the name of the root is prop root. When it comes to maize or sugar cane, it is called stilt root. Function, mechanical support. So, first type, storage in plants like carrot. In banyan tree, supporting called prop root. In this one, sugar cane, it is called a stilt root for mechanical support. Then, in another example, in plants like Avicennia rhizophora, very rare plant. See, in such plants, roots are meant for respiration, respiratory root. Roots are doing the function of respiration, respiratory root. Respiratory root in Avicennia, Avicennia, Avicennia or rhizophora, Rhizophora. In Avicennia rhizophora, roots are doing the function of respiration. You very rare case. This Avicennia rhizophora, you have to remember the plant. They are called mangrove plant, growing in the marshy area, waterlogged area. You can see the river sides of the river, there is a muddy area. When we are traveling from this area, Kasaragod area to Mangalore area, or in the on the south side, when we are going to Pioneer side, you can see that on the either side of the railway track, you can see marshy muddy area, or on the side of the rivers, you can see the muddy area, and these muddy areas are called marshy area, M-A-R-S-H-Y, marshy area. In that marshy area, muddy area, certain plants are growing. Such plants are called mangrove plant. These mangrove plants are there. These plants growing in the marshy area, muddy area, banks of the river are called as mangrove plant. This example, Avicennia rhizophora, these are all examples for muddy growing, marshy growing plants, mangrove plants. In that plant, soil is muddy. Remember that soil is muddy soil. See, soil is muddy, marshy soil. See, soil is muddy soil, marshy soil. Soil is marshy. When soil is marshy, soil contains less amount of oxygen, or amount of oxygen in the soil is comparatively less. Soil does not contain more oxygen. You remember that roots have to get oxygen. So roots are absorbing oxygen from the soil. Soil is like a sponge. Soil contains oxygen. Roots require large amount of oxygen. Roots absorb oxygen from the soil. Leaves absorb oxygen from the atmosphere. So roots have to absorb oxygen from the soil for metabolic activities like respiration. And this muddy soil contains less oxygen. You remember that there is a group of bacteria living in the muddy soil, marshy soil. They are called as methanogens. Methanogens are living in anaerobic condition. Methanogens can only live in anaerobic condition. They does not require oxygen. They cannot live in presence of oxygen. So methanogens, methane producing archaebacteria, are present more in the marshy soil because soil contains less amount of oxygen, or soil is anaerobic. Anaerobic means absence of oxygen. So these plants are living in the marshy area. They will not get enough oxygen from the soil because soil is muddy. So what happens in such plants? See, so plants are growing like that. Roots are present below the soil level. Some of the roots will come above the soil level like that. You see, some of the roots will come above the soil level. Some of the roots will come above the soil level. And these roots are called respiratory root. See, these roots are come above the soil level. Remember that roots are always growing downwards. We use the term positively geotropic. But very rarely In plants like Avicennia rhizophora, roots will come above the soil level. When we are growing above the soil level, we can call it as what? Negatively geotropic. So roots are always positively geotropic, growing downwards in the soil. But in plants like Avicennia rhizophora, roots will growing above the soil level. Negatively geotropic examples you have to remember. And why the roots are coming above the soil level? And these roots are called as respiratory root or other called as nematophore. Nematophore, P silent. These roots are called respiratory root or nematophores. These roots are called nematophore. And the roots contain openings. This root contain small openings. These openings are called nematode. These openings are called nematode. And these openings are meant for exchange of oxygen. They absorb oxygen from atmosphere and release carbon dioxide. See, these roots are coming above the soil level, so they can absorb oxygen from the atmosphere and release carbon dioxide to atmosphere. So these roots are coming above the soil level and to absorb oxygen or for respiration. So roots are coming above the soil level, negatively geotropic. They absorb oxygen from the atmosphere and release carbon dioxide. So such roots are helping for respiration. Such roots are called respiratory root or nematophore. Very important for examinations like NEET examination or All India examination. This topic is important. So roots are doing functions other than fixation and absorption. So 4 examples are given. In plants like sugarcane or beetroot or carrot, roots are doing the function of storage of food material. In plants like banyan tree, roots are called prop root, helping for mechanical support. In plants like sugarcane or maize, roots are giving support. They are called as tilt root, originating from the stem region, nodal region. And in plants like marshy plants like Avicennia rhizophora, roots are helping respiration. Such roots are called nematophores and they are negatively geotropic. There are 4 examples: respiration, supporting and storage. Examples are very important. You have to remember all examples. Okay, 4 types of root modifications. This is a question carrying 2 marks. What are the root modifications? Root modifications. Then see the next type. Next I have to say the regions of the root system before modification. See, regions of the root system. What are the regions of root system? What are the parts of a typical root system? See, next topic, regions of root system. What are the regions of root system? Typically, a root consists of main root. See, there is a main root called taproot. What are the parts of taproot system, regions of the root system? See, this is the main taproot or root consists of a main axis, and this main axis there is a tip region. This tip region is called, tip of the root is called root tip. Tip of the root is called a root tip. And this root tip is protected by, so that root tip is always positive geotropic and tip of the root is very soft region. This is going downwards. This tip is covered by a cap-like covering. Tip of the root is protected by a cap-like covering. This cap-like covering is called root cap. This is called root cap or calyptra. See, the tip of the root is called root tip. It is protected by a cap-like covering called a root cap or calyptra. And see, root tip is a soft region. It is a growing tip of the root system. It is very soft in appearance. It is growing downwards between the soil particles. So the tip of the root is very soft region. So it is protected by a cap-like covering called root cap or calyptra. This part, this tip of this region of the root system, the tip of the root system is called a region of meristematic activity, region of meristem. The tip of the root system is called region of meristematic activity, region of meristematic activity, because it is the growing tip of the root. So this is the growing tip of the root system. Meristem means growing tip where the cells are dividing very fastly. So tip of the root system is called a growing tip, region of meristematic activity. Tip region of the root system, root tip, including the root cap and root tip and root cap, totally called a region of meristem. Behind that there is a region called region of elongation. This is the region of elongation where the growth or length increase very fastly. Region of elongation or elongation, length increasing region is called a region of elongation. And behind that there is a region called region of maturation. This third part is called region of maturation. In the region of maturation we can see root hairs can be seen. These are called root hairs. Unicellular outgrowths are there. These unicellular outgrowths are called root hairs. They are the absorbing organs of the plant body. Behind that there is a region of lateral roots can be seen like that. You can see the lateral roots like that. These kind of lateral roots can be seen like that. These are called a lateral root. Lateral. This is the structure of. So typical root consists of regions of root. There are three regions of the root system. First part called a region of meristematic activity, where the roots are growing very fastly, cells are dividing very fastly. And behind that there is a region of elongation where the length increases very fastly. Then there is a region of maturation where roots are maturing, where the branches originate like that. So there are three portions for a typical root system. Region of tip region is called region of meristematic activity where the cells are dividing very fastly, growth takes place very fastly. Behind that there is a region of elongation where the length increase very fastly. Behind that there is a region of maturation. Three parts are there. And the region of maturation we can see root hairs. Unicellular, epidermal outgrowths are called root hairs. With naked eye we cannot see root hairs. We can see only under microscope. Root hairs are the absorbing organs of plant body. Water minerals are absorbed by root hairs. And there are lateral roots are there, branches called as lateral roots are there. So in this region of maturation, we can see root hairs and lateral roots. And the region of elongation is simply elongating cells. And the region of meristematic activity, we can see cells are meristematic tip where the cells are dividing cells are present. That dividing cells are protected by a cap-like covering called a root cap or calyptra. So these are the regions and you have to label the diagram. This diagram number 5.3. This is the figure number 5.3. This is the figure number 5.3. 5.3. You have to take down the diagram from the textbook, and this is very, very important. You usually asking for examinations repeatedly. You have to draw the diagram and label the parts. So draw the diagram very carefully, and here we have to remember what is root cap. Cap is protected by a cap-like covering a root cap or calyptra. Which are the absorbing organs of the plant body? Then you have to answer not root. Root hairs are the absorbing organs of the plant body. So these are the important things related to regions of the root system. So we complete the morphology of the root system completed. So I will revise once again. There are three types of root system: taproot system, adventitious root system, and fibrous root system. And a region tip, then comes the regions of the root system: region of meristematic activity, region of elongation, region of maturation. Then roots are modified: storage root, stilt root, prop root, and respiratory root. That's about the root modifications. Root types of root system, regions of the root system, modifications of the root system. So very important, one diagram is also there for carrying 3 marks or like that. So morphology of the root is over. Then comes to stem. Morphology of the stem, types of stem, modifications of stem in the next class. I will send the notes soon. Okay, thank you.